Okay, so we're here at the first day of the NDC conference. I'm here with Andy and Patrick, and you guys work for Lindorf. Yep. Cool, and you have been doing a lot of interesting stuff around AWS Lambdas and are also doing stuff in C#. So I want to basically ask for some of your experiences. And so can you tell me a little bit about what your feel is for using AWS Lambda?
I like it. It gives you a lot more flexibility for some things, and the integration with AWS services helps a huge amount. So triggering things like cognito authentication and when people try to log in. So that's very useful.
Yeah, cool. And can you share some of the pitfalls with using Lambdas? I can imagine it's really cool, but there are some gotchas.
Yeah, don't put a Lambda behind an API gateway. Because if you use a JavaScript Lambda behind API gateway, you get a consistent response time, about 200 milliseconds, or less eventually. But with a C# one, the second, third, fourth, fifth invocation are 200 milliseconds or so. The first one is about 10 seconds. And if you've got a timeout set on your Lambda and that doesn't complete because the environment kills it off because it takes too long, then the second, third, and fourth don't get to complete either because it still has to do recompilation, I guess. So that's my biggest issue with it. But I hope it'll be fixed in time because it's still a relatively new thing to put C# in Lambda.
Right, cool.
If you've got computationally heavy loads and a long timeout, then it's probably better because C# is generally better for computation than Node. So, yeah.
Yeah, probably good luck for eventual stuff that you figure off events and stuff like that. We have like chat integration.
Yeah,
GitHub integration.
So we have a bot that is Lambda based for that.
Cool. Oh, awesome.
Because once you trigger it, we just instantly return 200 OK for that, and then it can continue doing other stuff later. We don't care how long it takes.
Yeah, so if I understand you correctly, it's mostly if you have longer running jobs that you might want to schedule, that would be fine to put in a Lambda that way, or to kick off some other process. That is definitely one of the really good usage points.
If you want low latency and consistent low latency, use the Node environment.
Okay.
Otherwise, use C# for computation or longer running stuff that you don't have a really definite, it must happen within a second or 2 seconds or whatever.
Yeah, right. Cool. Yeah, that's definitely good to know.
And the .NET stuff is new, so I don't know if that's affecting it also.
Yeah. Hopefully it'll get better
still.
Yeah, all right, cool. And so I can imagine that it running somewhere else and not like on on the server or that sort of thing, it can make the testing story a little bit different. So in terms of how would you approach like test-driven development?
Write your Lambda function as a separate function and call it from the wrapper handler in C#. In JavaScript it doesn't matter so much, it's just a standard exported function. So you're just testing a single function. As long as you can mock your other AWS dependencies. So in the talk I gave earlier, we have examples of projections being written in JavaScript. And I had an object that managed S3 reading and writing so that the projections were individually testable without requiring an S3 bucket in place to test that you could write something. And obviously the latency for your dev machine to S3 and back again per test would make your test suite not fast.
Exactly.
So as long as you can abstract very tinily, and the JavaScript makes it very easy to abstract, you just pass in a different object, and it just works.
Yeah.
As long as you can keep that little separation there, it's fine.
Yeah. So working in isolation like you would do with a proper unit test is likewise similar good advice.
Yeah, basically.
All right. Cool. Yeah. Well, thank you guys very much for this Q&A session, and I hope you enjoyed the rest of the conference.
Thank you.
I will. All right.